Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this unique video here on my YouTube channel. I've never done something like this. We just hit 1 million subscribers, so thank you all once again, and I promised you a rap, which I've delivered on, but also a Q&A session for you to get to know me better. And so in this video, I'm going to answer some of those topics that you're most curious about, but I'm also going to give you some chess pointers because there were some chess-related questions on the community post. Okay, so first things first, let's address those two questions which were on the thumbnail of the video. Number 1, is mayonnaise an instrument? You see, this one, you would think, according to traditional information, mayonnaise is not an instrument. It's a concoction of ingredients that would serve as a way of flavoring something like a sandwich, but it's 2021, and I think we need to challenge our frameworks of what we know about the world, and so I think we shouldn't really discriminate what can or can't be an instrument. It's not an instrument. And the second question on the thumbnail of this video was, will you marry me? And the answer to that question is hell no. And now on to the most upvoted questions on the community post. Shout out to Joshua, who asks, how many 7-year-olds do you think you could take in a fight at once before they overwhelmed you? Now I gotta say, this one's pretty complicated, and it also shows you what happens on YouTube if you leave the community to operate on its own. That comment or question had 5,000 likes, by far exceeding any other. At once, yeah? Probably, I mean, I don't know. I mean, probably like between 10 and 15. I feel like the power of my foot to kind of kick them away or my hands to swat them away. But then I also got a gripe with the, the ethical moral dilemma of how, am I trying to suppress? Am I trying to actively, it's a weird question. Let's just say like 12 of them. But again, kids nowadays are also massive and like got muscles, so I don't know. Second question. This one is really good. I'm about to find out exactly where Levi gets all his hoodies. Let me show you. So, I like to get solo colored hoodies. I get all of my hoodies from H&M. I have olive, galaxy, light blue, maroon, pink and purple, although this is hot pink and I used to have a lighter pink, but then I got ketchup on it and oil at the same time, and that's a goner. I also have a gray one. I also have one in black. Lucy got me this yellow designed hoodie from a company called Riot Society. But yeah, I love hoodies, super comfortable, and I don't really wear too many flashy clothes, even outside. So I like to go outside in solo colored hoodies. And in the next apartment where we will end up living, we'll have more space. As you all know, I am from New York City, in case you didn't know that, and so we don't have a lot of space here. So the next place we'll have is a closet. Actually, right now, I just basically throw all my clothes on top of my dresser or my laundry pile. But I also really love dress shirts and pattern shirts. I have a few shirts from Robert Graham, and this one in particular is kind of like Dia de los Muertos kind of vibe, little dancing skeletons on it. I recently found an amazing designer and I treated myself. The shirts are pretty expensive. That one is called Joe Bananas. It's an Australian designer, and this is my favorite shirt from Joe Bananas. But I have a lot more. Like, I have this red one with toucans on it, and I have this banana shirt, and yeah, I have a lot of shirts, but my favorite shirt is this one. It's like a silk blend. Lucy got it for me for my birthday 2 years ago, not 1 year ago, but 2 years ago, I believe, and it's incredible. It's first of all, it's beautiful. I love it, but second of all, it has little dots that you can't see, which absorb light and glow in the dark. So like not like, I mean, you don't look like an alien, but they kind of they flash a little bit in the dark, and it's like really cool. Like if you go dancing, for example. So it's like a party shirt, and whenever clubs open up again and you could drink something of the liquid variety and dance with your friends, I will be wearing this shirt. I will say though, the pandemic has caused me to gain a lot of weight, definitely, like between like about 15 pounds at the top and about 10 at a minimum when my weight fluctuates. So I'm currently dieting, trying to lose that weight, and I outgrew some of these shirts. Like my stomach is just too big. So listen, I might seem like this big YouTube guy. I'm a human just like everybody else, and I have not been particularly healthy over the last year and a half. And I'm sure some of you would be like, well, Gotham, that's not so bad. It's been worse for me and this and that. I'm at the highest weight I've ever been, okay? And that's kind of the one thing I'm most unhappy about, is that that lack of energy, not getting great sleep. I've put in so much into this YouTube grind, this Twitch grind, the website with the courses and everything, and now I need to get the health and that side of things caught up, and then I think I'll be fully happy. Okay, so on that note, let us talk about a question like this. How much work went into every title? How much were you studying when you became candidate master, FIDE master? How much were you working with to get your IM norms? Did you ever consider stopping at FIDE? Stuff like that. And career and everything. There was other questions. There was a lot of questions about this. So for the next like few minutes, we have to start with the hoodies. That was the most important thing. I'm just gonna talk, okay? And maybe it's interesting to you, maybe it's not. I'm 25 years old. It's June 3rd, 2021 as I record this. I'll probably publish this today. I'm 25 years old. I started teaching chess. That's how I got into chess. I went to college for statistics and financial modeling, and I thought I was gonna have a job in finance or consulting. And I did not go to one of the best schools in New York City. I went to City University because I got a scholarship. So I was going to use chess as a mechanism to give private lessons. And then ultimately, I actually met so many families that were willing to help me get those interviews. But I like to teach chess more. And as I went through college teaching chess, I started running my own chess program at the age of 19 years old. Like some of these programs, they have 40-year-old, 50-year-old heads. So I really enjoyed that. And I built the program from the ground up. We won a couple of things. We won sections of the state championship, second place in New York City. We won a section of the New York City championship. And so I got my whole career going through chess. And obviously my family was split. They were like, you gotta have like a real job to get the health insurance and things like that. But I was making a good living because the truth is, and you guys might not know this, like, even if you're like 1,500, if you know the right people in New York City, you could get jobs after school teaching in some of these private schools for $80 an hour, $100 an hour, $150. Think about that. I know that might sound insane, but New York City is a crazy market to teach scholastically. I might have just inspired a few people watching, like, oh my God, I didn't know that. What am I doing over here? Private tutoring is a big market, and chess in particular is getting so much bigger. And in a place like New York City where people have the money and they will spend that money on the after-school program for their son or daughter, yeah, it's big. And so now when my family sees the work that I've put in, sees what chess has become, sees me becoming the person, influencer, whatever you want to use that word, that I am, they still, you know, they now the narrative has not become you're not going to be able to make something out of this. The narrative has become this is a fad and it might go away and you need to set your next step of life and everything. Chess for me has been always a very individualistic activity. I'm the only I'm the only person in my family who knows how to play the game at the level that I do. So beyond the level of about 1,400, which is the highest rating of any of my relatives, like my dad's about 1,400, my grandfather's maybe about 1,000, 1,100, but not like serious player. I always trusted myself first. That's one thing that chess gave me from childhood, for better or for worse, because I wasn't always open to advice and I wasn't always open to getting my mind changed or anything like that. I was a pretty bad student, like in a coaching student relationship. So yeah, for better or for worse, I always kind of trust myself. And now that I am where I am, all the next steps of life I'm trying to set up, and I do reach out and ask for advice, but ultimately I try to make as many of my own decisions as possible. The addition to that is not just this as a career, how did I get to this point as a chess player? I've played chess my whole life, basically. I played my first tournament when I was 7. I was a child prodigy. Me, Daniel Naroditsky, like all these young, Daniel Naroditsky's a month older than me. When we were like 11, 12 years old, we were kind of around the same level. I was a 2,000 rated 12-year-old, which back then was impressive in 2008. Nowadays, it's nothing. I mean, if you're not like 2,300 at 12, you probably will not become anything in chess. And so I got to that level at 12. I was the second highest rated 12-year-old in the country for a couple months. Naroditsky was first. My good friend Alex Ostrovsky was third. And I was always around that top 5, top 10, but I quit. I basically quit chess between 12 and 15. I was, you know, my family was splitting up. I was going through my teenage rebellious phase when I was trying to take the train by myself and try to become an adult. And I didn't like to work at chess. Like I had the talent, but I didn't have anywhere near the work ethic. And yeah, I mean, I came back to the game at 15. So I came back to the game at 15. By late 16, I became a national master, 2,200, and I only started training to become an international master in 2016 at the age of 20. So just think about that. Like some of these guys are becoming GM at 12, 13 nowadays. I mean, I kind of late bloomed to this whole thing. And I became an IM in 2018. So it's been a while, but if you take away all of 2020, right? I became an IM in the middle of 2018, and then I dropped off. I basically, never in my life did I even think I would become an international master, honestly. So when I made a really strong effort in 2016 and 2018, I didn't really play in 2017 for reasons. It was like an adrenaline drop. I just never thought I would even become an international master. And when I saw that I could do it, now everyone's asking this question. Are you going to become a GM? Let me tell you all something. That would take so much work. Just simply so much work. I would need 157 rating points, and I would need 3 Grandmaster norms. That would probably take like 20 to 30 hours every week of study. That's a business week. So you put in Saturday, Sunday, it's more. Good physical condition, working every single day, constantly coming up with ideas and training methods, and playing. You got to play and do those 9 games and over 5-6 days. It's really hard. It's really hard. It costs thousands of dollars because tournaments in the United States are expensive. So will I become a Grandmaster? Maybe. Do I want to become a Grandmaster? Not really. That's the truth. I would hate to walk away from all of this. I enjoy all of this far more than I do competing. There is nothing quite like spending 5.5 hours at a board from 6 p.m. till midnight and not eating, stressing, and having a completely winning position for 3 straight hours and then screwing it up as the clock hits midnight. It's just brutal. It's draining. It's dejecting. The highs are really high, but the lows are really low. Anyway, that's a little bit about me and my career, how we got here, and the Grandmaster title and that question surrounding it. Let's keep going. Okay, this next question is pretty long. You're more than welcome to pause the video here and read it, but essentially, James is asking, how are you able to healthily juggle all the stuff that you do? And what do you do on a day-to-day basis to make it possible in your personal life? Any techniques and things of that nature? Short answer, no, not at all. I don't have any specific techniques. Basically, all I've been doing since the pandemic and about May 2020 is working as hard as I possibly could. The way that started was I was streaming on Twitch basically every single day. Then I started making more YouTube content in June, July of last year. And I started constantly coming up with new ideas. And it's been that exact same process up until now. I am constantly thinking of new content, how to improve the content that I currently have or used to have, making my thumbnails as funny or interesting as possible. New ideas like this music, right, that I recently created. Some way to make chess bigger, better, and I am working on certain projects I can't really get into. But as far as the standpoint of personal life, I think I have just the best life partner I could ask for in Lucy. Lucy only learned chess as a result of us dating. She enjoys keeping up with the memes and the gossip of the chess world, and she works her full-time job in data, and is just such an important backbone and kind of fills in the gaps of my existence where I am just an absolute degenerate, and hopefully I return the favor for her. So, you know, not everybody has that. I would say I'm just a guy who can talk well, who knows his chess, and who can make people laugh and also convey information in an accessible and easy way. And I think that's where this growth has come from. So it's really difficult to compare chess or just anything outside of it to someone like me, because I've been playing chess since I was 5 years old. I've been teaching chess since I was like 17, 18. So it's really tough to do. But if I could give you advice beyond chess or beyond the kind of career that I've created as a creator, I guess, YouTuber, guy on Twitch, would just be, first of all, hard work and opportunity. Like there's a crossroads there. Like none of this would have happened without the Queen's Gambit, right? So what I will say is this. We all live such massively different lives. We're all different ages, genders, nationalities, ethnicities, religions, belief systems, where we are located in the world, our inherent inequality in terms of access to certain things or opportunities or resources, right? So the world is a crazy big place. If I could do just one thing, it would be inspiring people and telling you to be the best version of yourself and constantly be challenging yourself to improve at something, because the truth is, if you are in any sort of competitive job setting, or you have any sort of prospects, there are also many other people working as hard, if not harder, and also not as hard, right? There's just, the world is a massive place. I think it's also super important not to compare your day-to-day struggle to what you see on socials, the positive things that you read, people's highlights that they are posting. No one is out there, very few people, let's say, are out there posting all the things they struggle with on a day-to-day basis, all of their failures. Very few people do that. I'm pretty open with this kind of stuff. I talk about, like, you know, some of my shortcomings and my doubts and you know, insecurities and things like that, mostly on Twitch. So I don't do a lot of that on YouTube. But that is a very important piece of advice. And we are inherently not so equal. Like, people have access to things that you might not. Same goes for you, right? Like, compared to someone else who has it worse than you do. At the end of the day, try to set yourself incremental goals, and don't just go from A to the middle of the alphabet. Go from A to B. You can have those loftier goals and aspirations, but you got to take incremental steps. You have to see some degree of steps to take, some degree of a roadmap to get to what might be that final goal. I would say that's kind of my approach even now. Like, where I am sitting in front of you at this very time of recording, I got a couple of things on my to-do list. I bought an electronic toothbrush a month and a half ago. I haven't set it up. That takes 5 minutes. You understand? Get what I'm trying to tell you? Like, we're all guilty of the little things. But we also bad with forecasting and predicting things months out in advance and all this stuff. So do as I say, not as I do, maybe. But at the same time, understand, like, life is long and you can't stress about everything, okay? So, okay, chess question time. How much do you think humans can improve our chess until we hit sort of a limit? Great question. Big picture, you're talking like solving chess, AI, etc., etc. No idea. All right, I'm kind of an idiot. Like, I don't know what to think about all that stuff. I think computers are fascinating, and I only look at them from the chess standpoint. I don't look at them from the transcendent, otherworldly, worldly, existential standpoint. I don't know the answer to that question. But if you're wondering what age, based on what age and skill I am now, what is my ceiling? Didn't you just hear all the other stuff I talked about? Why are you setting yourself a ceiling? Take incremental steps. You need to constantly, if you really want to get better at chess, you need to be very honest with yourself, okay? Are you actually putting in the work? Are you doing the right amount of work? We are very good at convincing ourselves that we're working hard and we're doing the right things. Are you really? Just because you play 20 blitz games in a day doesn't mean you're actually putting in the work. You need to go back, look at your statistics. If you don't know how to look at your statistics, you got to be a self-starter. You got to figure that stuff out. A lot of people will be like, well, what's this? And I'll be like, when I'm streaming, I'll say, you could just Google that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't need everything spoon-fed to you. You have to be a self-starter to improve at chess. And again, some folks have access to a coach. Some folks can buy expensive resources. Some folks only watch on YouTube because you know, the currency in their country is completely messed up and they can't buy anything. And that's how they get better. You got to analyze what you're good and bad at and set out some sort of training plan. And you got to stick to it. You have to see what's working, what's not working. Don't set upper limits for yourself. Now, a question I do get kind of to bounce off of this is, hey, Gotham, I'm this age and this skill. Can I become a grandmaster? What's the oldest a person has started the game and become a master? I personally know people who started the game of chess at about 20, and they became 2200, 2300 rated players. That means master, FIDE master. That sounds great in theory. Do you know how much they worked on that? And by the way, they got that in like 20 years. It took them the doubling of their lifespan. They didn't get 20 to 30. They didn't get 20 to 25. They just played, and over time, they were adult improvers. They had a job. They had the financial resources to get a coach, read a lot of books, practice a lot. It was what they did in their free time. It's very difficult to become a grandmaster, even an international master, okay, if you don't start the game of chess early. That's just the truth. Now, you would be a massive outlier if you broke that. By all means, go ahead and do that. But I get a lot of this stuff from teenagers too. Hey man, I'm 1600. I'm 14 years old. Should I go to be a titled player? No. What are you, insane? I mean, I don't exist to kill any dreams or anything like that, but for what? I mean, if that's like the only thing you can do, it's that or work in a junkyard. Okay, maybe. Use chess as a way to improve yourself, your study habits, reciprocal thinking, emotional stability. I mean, how you react to loss and drastic shifts of evaluation in a position and oh, my anger and all this stuff. But chess is a tough thing. It can also be like a vice. It's very addicting, and the truth is that education is far more important than becoming a title player. Title players do not make a lot of money. They don't. A lot of title players end up going to college in the United States. A lot of grandmasters come to the United States to study here, get finance degrees, go into financial engineering or software engineering or something like that. Play the game of chess because you love it and because you want to improve. Don't be like, I'm here and I want to get to the 0.00001% and that's the only thing that's going to make me happy. Get better incrementally. Okay, here's a good one. To follow up on that, how should a beginner train if you want to reach a rating of 1500 and beyond? Very easy. Leadchess.org. Sign up for an account, 1500. You're done. Okay, I'm joking. Leadchess fans, everybody calm down. Don't get your pitchforks out. If you start at 0, let's just say you're starting like absolute 0, it's going to take you a long time. It's a lot easier to do when you're younger. Somehow the brain just absorbs information better. You have more free time. A lot of kids right now can connect on Discord, and it's just nice to play chess in a community. Chess is a very isolating activity. I grew up without a massive network of friends playing chess, and I knew kids who grew up in schools, like with massive teams playing chess, and that can be more fun. I mean, it's everything that I've said. You need a very good foundation. You need to practice tactics a lot. You might need to do thousands of tactics to get all that pattern recognition down, and you need to have good openings with white and black, follow the principles, and really, really study your games. Really study your games and don't make the same mistakes multiple times. That's really the big thing. Like, you know, Lucy, my girlfriend, love her dearly. She's about 1,100, and she's kind of struggling with that right now. She's not going to be able to push past the 1,1300 without dedicated study. She hasn't begun the dedicated study process because she likes to play more, and studying chess is hard. You study it for a couple hours, you forget everything. You got to like do it 4 or 5 times, and everyone's brain is different. Some of us look at a position, we learn it instantly. So it's everything that I said. There's nothing specific. This is just the truth. There's nothing specific. Be consistent, learn from your mistakes, and as best as you can, stop repeating mistakes game to game. That right there, that one skill, realizing what you did wrong in a certain position and improving on it for the next game and all of your next games, and not making that same mistake 100 games from now because you forgot your lesson, that is what will make you a better player. And one super specific question to end it off: when you're learning an opening and the variations, how do you exploit the fact that they sometimes played something out of line but it doesn't blunder anything at first glance? I'm 820. So everybody struggles with this. The truth is that in every chess game, you will get to a point where the position is brand new. That could be good or bad, and I mean, also games can completely repeat. Like, I might play a game that was identical to another game, and then our game ends in a draw, something like that. But for the most part, this happens, and the truth is that if there's no obvious exploitable blunder, like of a pawn or a piece or a checkmate or something, it's just a subpar move. It's very tough. The truth is that probably, like that other guy wanted to get to 1500, around 1500, you can begin strategically punishing your opponents for doing things in the opening that might not be so great. At the end of the day, this question gets asked a lot, like, what if my opponent just plays super aggressively? Okay, anticipate their threats. Anticipate their threats. That's what it comes down to. How can they expand their position in this ultra aggressive or weird way that they're playing? Do they have threats? Get out in front of their plan and address it. But you have to be right. You can't just be like, oh, they have a threat, and they absolutely don't have a threat. You just made it up. That's where it gets tricky. Central space, always important. If they're giving you the center, take the center with pawns and with pieces. Pawn trades. Oftentimes, if they play off on the sides and do some dumb stuff, if you focus on the center, trading in the center, bringing your pieces, pawns, bishops, knights to the middle, getting your king castled, that is the way that you're going to end up playing. And if they break the principles, they don't castle, their pieces are off to the side, where are you going to end up making your breakthrough into their position? Down the middle of the board. Now, let's say they play in the center, but then they do some other stupid stuff. Again, that's what it comes down to. That one trade. You got to find where your king is stronger. You got to find where your pieces are pointing. Make that break in the position. I am talking in far more general terms than normal because at the end of the day, there are just hundreds of openings and people can play. But that's really the plan. But truly, if you stick to the principles and being solid and you let them play all this stupid aggressive stuff, the long run, your chess improvement will be better and theirs won't be because they're not actually learning openings. So That's how I would address that. But again, chess is hard. And sometimes you can watch one of my videos and feel really good, and you go play the opening and they play a losing move, but it wasn't in my video. So you don't know how to react. So there's two ways to do this. Memorize everything, which is doable the stronger you get. And kind of, you got to play on experience. You got to play hundreds of games in a position and go, oh, I know they can't do that. If you see it for the first time, you might not react correctly. But if you see it for a fourth or a fifth time, you will. All right, folks. I think we're just about done. I got my pile of hoodies and shirts here from recording this video earlier. I hope this was good, fun, exciting for you to get to know me a little bit better. And at the end of the day, you know, everybody wants to say that I have 1 million subscribers now. And while that is true, that number reflects nothing about me. That's all you guys. That's all of you choosing to click that button because you enjoy my videos. I have one responsibility. It's to put out good content that educates you, entertains you, makes you want to share it with your friends. And you got no responsibilities. So the fact that you all love my content to this extent, the last video, the rap I put out had 6,500 comments. Just think about that number. That is an insane number. So once again, thank you. I told you I would do this for 1 million. I don't know when we're going to hit the next milestones. Currently, the plan is just to become the biggest channel. We are on pace, and yeah, have fun in the comment section, and I will see you in the next chess-specific video that I make. Peace out.